first and foremost, I say my prayers and thank the good Lord for everything that I have and everything that I have in this business. But I also say to myself, what one thing am I going to do in this business for my business today? And it can just be one thing, because when you start to try to figure out, oh, I've got to do this, I have to call this person, I have to call that person, you spend more time planning what you're going to do than what you're actually going to do. So I always say, pick one thing that you're going to do for your business every single day and go out and do it, because that one thing, that one phone call, that one email, that one contact, that one text, that one trip to the store and the lady that you talk to at the checkout can turn into 2 things, can turn into 4 things, can turn into 6 things. So taking this big, I always say the big elephant in the sky that seems so looming over you, and just take little bites away at it day after day after day after day has been extremely successful for me. I personally have really taken a look at myself first before chomping off the bit of trying to grow my business. Because if I am not in a good place, then I'm not going to be able to lead and guide my hostesses, my future team members, or anything like that. So I've really taken some time to educate myself. I learn every single day what is in the business, what's outside of the business, what's trending, things like that, what's going on, you have a basis. And I never want to stop doing that learning process. I was never a real big reader before. I never liked to read, really, to be honest with you. But I have found a passion in reading a lot of, one of the books that I'm currently reading right now, it's called Get Over Your Damn Self. And it's a really great book, and it tells you how to kind of get out of your own way, because I think a lot of times we stand in our own way of growing our business, and that puts us backwards. So, getting up every morning, like I said, finding one thing that you're going to do for your business and going out and doing it. I have definitely had a shift in mindset that this is a business. This is a business. This is not a hobby. This is something that I need to do for my family and for myself. And beyond that, there are so many men and women out there that need this business. And that has become my drive, is I see so many people that need it. So I offer it. It was always very scary to me to talk to complete strangers, believe it or not. As outgoing and as talkative as I am, it was a fear of mine, was talking to somebody complete stranger. So how I got over that fear was cold calling wasn't for me. I was terrified. So what I did was I put myself specifically in a position to be able to have a conversation with somebody, and I wasn't fearful of it. Let me give you an example, and I do this all the time. I'll go into the dollar store, and that section where they have all of the, the plastic things or whatever, the plastic containers. I will purposely position myself in that aisle because there's always somebody in there, and somebody's always fumbling with a container, and I just strike up a conversation with them. I'll say, oh my gosh, it's so hard to find a good container. Or they're standing next to me and they say, gosh, I can't find the right container. Well, they opened up the conversation for me. So I purposely put myself in a position that's more comfortable. Okay. That is a much more comfortable situation for me than, just walking up to a perfect stranger. I'm getting better at that, but I always go for comfort. And sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone. Talking to complete strangers is a scary thing. Making cold calls is a scary thing. But Pam Cliff always says, what? You gotta get 10 no's before you get a yes. It's true. If you give up, and I've done it in the past where you get 1 no and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna do well at this. You gotta just keep, finding that why. What's your drive in that? Like I said, I'm down here in South Carolina helping out. My mother-in-law had surgery. That's what's amazing about being able to do this, is I ensured that I had business going on while I was gone I've got Facebook parties going on. So one of the things that I really tried to incorporate is things we learned at SpringFest was how to create the business page and things like that. I've really been focusing a lot on my business page and working my business page. I, on average, have between 2 days, maybe about 1,500 hits on certain things. And it's like a challenge to myself. That if I don't have as many people liking or looking at what I've posted, I challenge myself, well, why? I got to make it better than that, okay? Our social media reach is huge, and you can utilize that. I've had women on my business page put right on there, I want to host a party, and put their phone number right on blast, right there on my business page. So I learned a ton at SpringFest on how to be professional in your business. There's a lot of things I had no idea about, and I utilize those every single day. So one of the other pieces of advice that I can give you is when we have these amazing opportunities for training, embrace them, go to them. You need to, again, it goes back to educating yourself. I try, again, every day to learn something new that I can implement. Not every training that we go to, you're going to go, oh, I'm going to use every single piece of what I'm doing. But I guarantee you're going to find a certain thing here or there that clicked with you. And it might be that one little thing. And for me at SpringFest, it was a lot of the things that Lynn was talking about that I've implemented, that I've seen a tremendous shift in my business. So that's very important, is to continue to educate, to read, work on yourself. I've also really been working on when you start growing your team, that's very, very important too, being accessible to them, helping them, give them the tips and the little things that you learned on the way when you've tripped and fallen, okay? Don't leave them out there hanging, because this becomes, you know, our society here, our group that we want to help. So just keep forging ahead with that. And like I said, when you fall down, you need to pick yourself up and climb back up the valley. You know, like everyone says, we have peaks and valleys in this business, and everybody has them, but you don't want to pull out a chair and light a fire and camp out down there. You need to climb up the mountain, and it is very, very true. So, you know, just every day, get up, think of one thing you're going to do and do it. You need to treat it like a business. You need to set business hours, just like you would if you got up for work every day. You've got to get up and say, okay, these are the times that I'm going to work and you're going to work. I have gotten very controlling over my schedule and my time frame. Before, it was kind of all over the place. And it was whenever I could do a party, I would do it. And I think it becomes a little too frazzled for everybody at times. So I've gotten a little more specific. I've seen a lot of the directors who will use like a calendar, and they'll put stickers or whatever on the days that they want to host parties. I've begun to do that, and it has worked a whole lot better because I only give hostesses a certain option. And you can have this date or this date. And I know that we've heard it before, but it really does work. I will ask them, do you want weekend or weekday? And whatever they tell me, I give them 2 choices, and they'll pick. Most recently, what I've been doing with people is when I call potential hostesses, right now I've been getting a lot of, oh, I'm really busy. So my son is, you know, has first communion or graduation or prom. There's a lot of that going on right now. And they'll say, I'm just too busy to host a party right now. But I turn it around and I say to them, well, you know what? I really don't want you to miss out on the opportunity that Tupperware is giving us for birthday month, because it's tremendous, the things that you're going to get. But I understand. I begin to relate to them. You know, I get it. We're a little bit. And that's when I'll say, but you know what? Why don't we go ahead? Because I really don't want you to miss out. How about we throw together a Facebook party? So I'm putting both options out there for them. But in between throwing out the second option, I relate to them, because we all can relate to them. If we take away the I want from you, and they feel like you really understand their situation, they're more apt to go, yeah, you know, that would be great. And I explained to them what that's all about. And the 4 women, the one day that I turned around, they couldn't do in-home parties, and that's okay. They all agreed to do the online party with me. So I still have them as a hostess. Okay. So, and I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm having a party. All right. And there's a lot of things that we can do from that. Of course, my first option is always I want to be in their home cooking with them and having a great time, but I'm not going to lose the opportunity to have a hostess. So those are the things that I've been working on, is learning this avenue of online, because it was something that I was uncomfortable with, like a lot of people are uncomfortable with. But you know, you got to just put yourself out there. I've been made of videos, cooking videos at home, not just myself, with my kids in them. I know Patricia does that as well. She uses her grandkids in a lot of videos and things like that, cooking and stuff. Use them, make videos. And I always think everything has to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect. And it was funny is I became more comfortable making my own videos and falling down and making mistakes, because Sam, actually, I watch her a lot, and you know, she's always laughing and she's always like, oh, look what I did or whatever. And I'm like, you know, it's okay. It's okay that it's not, we're not Emerald Lagasse guys. Okay. We're real men and women cooking in the kitchen, just like our hostesses are out there cooking in the kitchen. Okay. So it's fun to just be a little silly and show you're human out there. Because what do you think is going to happen when your hostess is using the Power Chef or your hostess is using the pressure cooker? She's going to drop things. She's going to make a mess. If you try to be perfect, you're going to be imperfect. Okay.
So true, Stacey.
Just true. You don't want to be perfect. You have to be relatable.
So I'm going to stop you for just a minute because I took a bunch of notes and I want to go over a little bit, and then I want to ask you a couple of questions. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So far some notes that I took and some things that maybe you guys took from this as well. And I find that sometimes when someone else tells me that their notes, I'm like, oh, I didn't write that down. That was good. Right? So, I like that you're reading more. Mm-hmm. I like the book that you're reading because it sounds like something I would like.
Right.
So I think that that's one thing that we can all take away, is that we do need to read more and learn more. Yeah. That this is a business and not a hobby, although some people out there might say it is a hobby for them. Right. And you know, I think that you should ask yourself this question: am I in this business to make money or spend money? If you're in the business to make money, it's a business. If you're in the business to spend money, it's a hobby. And that's okay.
Exactly.
Make one thing to do every day. Some people do get overwhelmed. That's one thing. Purposefully put yourself in a situation where you're more comfortable. I think that's smart. But I also think I'm going to give you a little tip of a little fun fact. You got to put yourself in places to make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah, make yourself want to throw up.
Set your business hours and then control your schedule and datings, because I of course do that too. So Stacey, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Sure.
So first of all, I want to ask you, let's think back to July when your brand's making new and you just signed up. Your first month, what did you do in sales? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's say your first couple months, I know you did parties right away. So tell me, what did you do your first month or so to get parties in your day book?
Okay, I will tell you, I did not ask friends and family at all, because I have found through not only myself, but through my team members, that when you sit and you focus, obviously my first initial party, yes, you invite your friends and whatever, right? But you cannot rely on your friends and family, guys, to move your business. If you do that, you won't move, okay? And I see a lot of people just holding on to, well, I ask people for parties, and I ask them, who are you asking? Well, it's your friends or your family up on Facebook or whatever you're asking.
Well, then who did you ask? If you didn't ask friends and family, who did you ask?
I asked strangers.
Where were you? Like, give me more specifics. And the reason why I ask, because I know people are thinking this. So more specifically, like your first 3 hostesses, where'd they come from?
They were random things that I purposely would do some events.
Okay, events.
Vendor events. I like that. You meet brand new people out in, like I said, in the dollar store. Okay. Right. Purposely putting myself in a position where I knew I could catch a hostess.
Okay, cool.
Randomly walking around the mall, I'm kind of sort of looking for a hostess. That doesn't work. everything was very intentional, where I knew that if I walked into this store and I purposely put myself down a specific aisle or over here or over there where I was forced to have a conversation with somebody, it would come up. I also would always carry a piece of Tupperware in my bag that was hanging out of the bag so people could see it. And if I was standing in a checkout line, somebody would say it to me. So it was non-threatening to somebody else until I started to get a little more comfortable with approaching a complete stranger.
Okay. So your first hostesses were complete strangers that you met. And then, so at your party, so you're there. So did you recruit right away, or did you date right away, or was it natural for you?
I recruited right away. I began building a team right away because that's one of my strong suits, is recruiting and talking to people. So then my next several parties ended up being launch parties. Okay. Cause when I would go in, I would end up recruiting everybody in the party. So I would do launch parties, which I was okay with that because I was jump starting other women's business.
But if you were doing launch parties, then did you find yourself without in-home parties of your own? Okay. So then what did you do?
I did. And I was like, oh, so I was very excited about having this team that I was building, but then you're right. My own personal business started to go. So what did I have to do? I had to go out and find more women. Again, find events to go to. It's very easy to set up a booth, and talk to women. You don't have to be selling things at a vendor event. I don't sell things at vendor events. I set up a booth and I am there to date, recruit, and talk about product. And everybody comes over to talk to me because they see it's Tupperware. So
cool. So your events are where you kind of have catapulted your business a little bit, I should say, or most of it. Okay. So now so you're brand new in the business.
Yep.
And you have parties that you've met from complete strangers because you've done events and you've gone out there and found them. You weren't selling at them, so there wasn't high pressure for you to have to drag all that stuff there, right?
Nope, not at all.
You just had to make sure you were prepared.
Yep, that's all it was. All I did was I made sure, I had my tablecloth, and I had the kit, obviously, with all of the product there. And I always have a Shape-O ball sitting on the top, on the highest piece. I always have the Shape-O ball sitting way up on the top because everybody gets the feel goods when they see the Shape-O.
Yes, true.
Okay? So everybody will draw over and they're like, oh my gosh, I have that. And they come to me. So, and all I have is things like that. And I'll have a little drawing bowl for people to sign up, and you just talk to people. You just have a conversation with people, and that's it. But I find that the best hostesses are complete strangers.
I agree with you.
The best hostesses that I have had that are complete strangers. Yes. Is it nice that we can use initially our family and friends to catapult us? Yes. But you have to go outside of that arena or your business will die.
Okay, so you are less than a year in the business.
You've got to get outside of that, whether it's a vendor, it's a time to do it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so you're less than a year in the business, and can you hear me? Okay. And so I think the biggest takeaway that I think I really want to hear a lot of people on here is, because I know everybody, I shouldn't say I know, but I'm pretty sure that every single person that's online right now can say they could use more parties in their books. Yeah. So I'd like you guys to comment in the comments if you could use more parties, or no, if you couldn't, you have plenty and you're good. Let's comment and see what people say, because I know that. Oh, we have one yes there. Oh, yes. We haven't had a no yet. Okay, yes. Oh, okay, yes. So we haven't had a single no. Another yes. Not a single no.
No.
So, how many parties are you doing a month, Stacey?
Well, I don't look at them in months.
Okay.
I go week to week.
Okay.
That's what I do, because again, for me, when I say, okay, I have to hit this number, this is my goal, it overwhelms me. And I think it can overwhelm a lot of people. So I break it down by days, and I break it down by events, and I break it down by weeks. So each week has a goal. Each day has a goal. And that's what I do. Rather than have, oh, I want to do 15 parties a month. I don't say to myself, I want to do 15 parties a month, because guess what will happen? I'm only going to shoot for 15 parties a month. Mm-hmm. Right now, I have on the books for this month, I have 17 parties for this month.
But you did that by breaking it down. Instead of just saying you wanted to have 17 for the month, you decided to just kind of make a weekly goal of what you wanted. Okay, you know what, guys? I really want you to write this down. I want you to write down these couple things. Number one, I want you to write down more vendor events, because that I agree 100% with her that that's where you're going to grow and find parties. So that's number one. And number two, I think I want you to write down each day and each week have a goal, because I really do believe that if you break it down, just like she said, she's right. You're going to get way more than what you expected. And then at the end of the month, you're not going to go, crap, I wish there was more days in my month, you know?
Right.
So Patricia says, yes, I broke down the 2 months to qualify for Hemingway. 5,000 was overwhelming and freaked me out. So I did just that, broke down to week and day goals. So I think that is brilliant. And
it's just smaller chunks. You just have to bite it off in smaller chunks and look at the reality, okay, is what you have and what you're going to do to achieve that. Yes. Okay, I want to book a party today. Okay, well, what are you going to do today to go book that party? Mm-hmm. And I don't say I'm only going to book an in-home party. I'm open to any avenue of a party with the hostess, because I want to service that hostess, whether it's a Facebook, an in-home, a book party, whatever. But break down, what you want isn't necessarily what you're going to get. You have to just be open to whatever is out there and working with the people, okay? Because everybody is different, and our why is different than everyone else's why. Why they want to have a party with you and how they want to have a party with you may be different than what you want out of it. But definitely for me, breaking down things into smaller bites is much easier for me. Then I tend to get way too overwhelmed, and then nothing gets done, because you're like, oh, I have all these things, and you don't get.
Even Patricia just wrote, even if you break it down to the 175 goals that Tupperware puts out every week, that will get you $600 a month, and you didn't freak out about the larger amount. So that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to ask you just maybe one or two more questions before we wrap up, because I'm thinking if I'm curious, maybe somebody else is curious as well. So you're at your party.
Yeah.
And I know you said that you do a lot of recruiting, which is great. But I know you have to do dating too. So what do you think you do differently? Or what do you think that you do that's so successful that gets people to want to date and recruit with you?
Okay. I don't date the parties. My hostess dates the parties for me. Okay. Because what I do, hostess coaching, I know we hear about it. It is so huge. So huge. I hostess coach the heck out of my hostess. Okay. She is very well aware that if I don't date 2 parties at her party, she's not getting her stuff. Okay. So she's already psyched and gung-ho and excited because she wants these things. All right. And she's already pinpointed who in her party will date a party for her. Let's face it, guys, they already know their friends better than we know their friends, especially if we've never met them before, okay? So I'll ask some questions to her. I'll be like, to put a little thing in her head, like, oh, who likes to have fun? Who likes to cook? Who wants to say, I ask very pointed questions to my hostess to get her to start thinking about her guests, to think about who would love to host a party, okay? And then while we're at the party, I will sprinkle, like Nancy Legan always says, sprinkle it throughout the party. You want to constantly talk about it. You don't want to just say it one time. I will sprinkle it through, kind of a joking, ha, ha, ha. Oh, well, Susan, when at your party, we can make this, because I know you like margaritas, or you like this, or you like Mexican, or whatever. But in the meantime, my hostess is the one that actually is getting the datings for me, because what she'll say is, oh, come on, Sue, you know, I want this bag, or I want this, or whatever the hostess gift special is. So I really utilize my hostess as a really big tool to date for me. Because I think a lot of times when people come to in-home parties, they're like, oh, that woman is going to jump all over me to sell or to have a party, and I don't want to do that. So I eliminate that. I become their girlfriend, their Tupperware girlfriend at the party, and become very relatable, and I let my hostess do that work for me. If she is struggling with it, I will sprinkle it through, and I always have that conversation at the checkout, especially when I'm looking at what they're ordering. Okay. And I just kind of take clues and cues from, you know, the people at the party. But again, I really utilize my hostess a lot. I have her do my legwork for me in that respect, because again, she knows her people more than I know her people.
Okay, cool. And I also kind of hear, I mean, I know you didn't actually use these words, but I kind of heard you say in other words, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, by sprinkling and doing those things, you made it fun so that people are wanting to date with you.
And it's fun, and you have to be fun and silly and goofy, and, you know, you have to adapt and change to your parties so that your people there are comfortable with wanting to date with you. Okay. Yeah. For example, I had a party where these women were just not, they were not a game type of a group, okay? They just wanted to chitty chat and sit around and whatever, and you have to learn to think on your feet and adjust. Every party is not the same, okay? And you can't go into it with, you have a plan of what you want to do, but you may have to shift and adjust. So this woman had an enormous butler's pantry. My hostess had one of those big, huge walk-in butler's pantries. And I thought, okay, I need to shake up the party. So I said, hey, can we go in your pantry and play around in your pantry? And that's when the modular mates were the hostess gift special. Well, her friends jumped all over that. We're like, yeah, let's check out how sloppy your butler's pantry is. And we all were in her butler's pantry, all of us together. And we were playing with the hostess gift special in the butler's pantry, and we were putting food from her cabinet into the hostess gift special. I dated 4 parties at that party simply from standing in a butler's pantry with 12 other women. Like, you know, we were all kind of crammed in there, and we were all taking turns, and you can see and touch and feel it. They dated themselves. Okay. So being creative, thinking outside of the box in your parties, not just going, hey, want to have a party? Hey, want to have a party? You know, you have to sometimes, you know, be a little off the wall a little bit and think a little bit differently with things, and it will happen. It will happen.
Well, that sounds good. Yay. Okay. So I hope you guys got notes. I know that you guys talk about, or we do ahas, and trust me, I'm going to show you the aha drawing gift in a minute. But I would love for you to chat or comment in the chat bar something that you learned tonight, something that even if you already learned it, you know, or you would know it, I should say. Sometimes a couple things that she said might be a really good reminder, or like a refresher of something that you either used to do or you always wanted to do or you thought about doing. Okay, we've got one, set business hours. That's a great one. We have 2 Stacey's on tonight. That's funny. Both spelled with the same way.
The same way.
Set business hours. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And you know, to go back to her other point, you know, be flexible, because even though you set business hours, sometimes it's nice to know that you can't be flexible, because if you're not flexible, then you're probably going to put yourself right out of business. But it's nice to have your business hours. Like I don't do parties on Saturdays and Sundays. Like you just can't get me to do one. I mean, like, can I do one? It is so rare. How's that? But that's okay, because it's my business. Do 1 or 2 things every day to help your business. Yes, I love that. That's the beautiful part about entrepreneur. Is that you, Stacey? The other Stacey. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Finding hostesses at the dollar store. So true. I do a lot of things you said. I like setting my hours 9 to 2 because I'm home alone that time. And that's perfect.
Right.
But again, even though I don't do parties on Saturdays and Sundays, can I be flexible? I can be flexible, especially if someone tells me that's all they have available. Right. You know, you really want to date them, or you want to give them what they want. So sometimes you can be flexible, but you just got to remember that it's your business. So,
well, and don't judge. You know, you can't judge. I'm not going to talk to that person because I don't think it's going to be a good party, or I don't want to go here, or I don't want to go there. You need to be open to every opportunity that comes across your way.
Right.
Every single month without fail, I have a party in it's like a retirement high rise. And every single month without fail, she is my hostess. And it does not produce a lot, but without fail, I'm there every single month. And more people start coming, and more people I'm meeting and learning. And, that's what is great. So never, turn away anybody either. You never know who you're going to meet. You just don't know, and never judge.
Don't prejudge.
No.
So Sue says, be intentional in getting a host when you talk to strangers. Patricia says, yes, but again, I add an hour and have a longer day or 2 to hour. Yeah, because that's great, because that's exactly, you're being back and forth. So thank you so much, Stacey. I want to I know that you're in South Carolina. Well, read more and party anyway. I love that. I know that you're in South Carolina and that you did this on your other time. And so I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys, I did start recording, but I started recording just a tad bit late. But I do have, I would say 90% of what she said recorded. So you guys, they can rewatch. So I'm going to do a flippy flop real quick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right. So Stacey was much better to look at than she already muted herself. Everybody says thank you. You're very welcome, and thank you, Stacey. Thank you. First of all, I knew that there was no way I could prepare, because if you saw what I saw in my house, you would be like, yeah, right. You're not
right.
So I just appreciate Stacey being on here, and hope to get her to come back, because I know that she's going to be joining the director ranks really soon, and I can't wait for that. If you guys already gave your aha, don't worry. You can still give the same aha when we post it. I have presents right here. I found them today when I was unpacking. You're welcome. So our aha gift tonight is going to be, water bottle koozies. And I think these are the same size. No, one's a little bit smaller. It looks like one's for a medium and one's for a small water bottle. So aren't this exciting? So your water bottles can stay cooler, and they won't sweat, and they will actually say Tupperware, and these are really neat. So if you want them, and these are really easy for me to ship. I knew I'd have to do something easy, because I got to go to the post office, and I got to find a box. I got a bag, and or an envelope. Whoop, post office, all done. So anyway, I'm going to post a picture, and you guys are going to have to comment below. I'm going to post a random picture, because the picture that I normally post is not on this computer. So I'm going to post a random picture and say, post your ahas and comments below, and then I will pick a winner today. No, tomorrow. Yes, I will pick a winner tomorrow, and I will post who won, and then you guys have to send me your address, and I will get these shipped out for you. Actually, I can ship them out to you, no problem. No, I was going to say, but I can bring them because I'll be there next week. But no, then I got to remember to pack it. I'm just going to ship it, because I think that'll be so much easier. You can see me forgetting packing that? I can. All right, so, oh, crap. I didn't end the recording. Let me